Welcome to this Saturday rainy edition of Oaklawn Today. Nancy Holthus, that's my last name,
Yes.
joined alongside our track announcer, Dinnerman.
I'm glad you know your last name, Nancy.
Yeah, it's one of those. I've been up since 3:30, so it's kind of like I've already had an 8-hour day almost.
Yeah.
So
it's
yeah.
like when you fall and then the paramedic comes and he's like, okay, what's your last name? What day is it?
What day
That
is
sort of
it?
is
How
so
many
we know
fingers?
You're all healthy. You're good.
Yes, my maiden name is Yuri. I do
Right.
know that. My married name is Holthus. So we had a great day of racing yesterday. But first, let's take a look at what Mother Nature has delivered us today. It is absolutely pouring outside. We are looking at a sloppy surface. No wind, though, but we are going to have showers and thunderstorms today. But the good news, Matt, it's warmer than it was yesterday.
Yes, and it's especially warm in this studio.
It is especially warm in this
You
studio.
can't feel it, folks, but it is
I'm
warm.
guessing it's like you. I thought you were spot on when you said it's. What'd you say? 78.
78.
It's pretty. It's yeah. It's
toasty. It's like the
It
fireplace.
is toasty. I feel like we've got a fireplace going on in the Oaklawn Today studio. Let's take a look at what happened yesterday. Several people had a really good day on the Friday card. Trainer Randy Morse with a double, Ricardo Santana with a riding double, and how about Francisco Arrieta scoring that hat trick with 3 trips to the winner's circle? Very impressive day for that man. GW's Girl seeks back-to-back stakes wins in today's feature, the Dixie Belle. Rebel Day entries, they're tomorrow, Matt.
they are.
Yesterday, I misspoke. I thought they were today. They are tomorrow. So we have a really good idea of who we can expect in town. And doors on Rebel Day will open at 10:30 a.m. with a first post of 12 noon. And don't forget, we do have a 4-day race week, live racing this Monday, and our traditional cap giveaway day. You get your voucher at the door and redeem after race 4. And of course, that is while supplies last. So that is one good looking cap. But you look really good in a hat.
Thank you,
I will
Nancy.
say
I
you've got
appreciate it.
You've got the perfect shaped head for a baseball cap. You know, some people don't look good in hats, but you definitely pull that one off.
Thank you, Mom and Dad. The genetics help, I'm sure, and they're watching. So brownie points.
And
for me.
you mentioned yesterday there'd be a great hat to wear out on the golf course, and I
Yes.
said I'm going to be rocking mine this summer out on Lake Hamilton. So yeah, I think this is one of my favorite ones that we have done. And one of the things I love about these is every year they put the year on the meet
Right
in the
in the
back.
back
So
here,
I
yeah.
wore one, I think a couple of years or last week, and it was like the 2013 edition. Everybody's like, "Where'd you get that?" I'm like, way back in the day is when I got that bad boy. We do have 10 races to get to, so let's get started on this rainy Saturday afternoon. We start things off with a auction maiden for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. They've either sold or RNA'd for $75,000 or less in their last auction, or they are in for the maiden claiming price of $75,000. They will go 6 furlongs, and 3 first-time starters make up the field in today's opener.
Well, I'm picking one with experience, Nancy. Spot away for the Ron Moquette barn. This runner last time out got bet in a restricted maiden special weight. Went off at 3-1. It veered in at the break, did not break well, used a lot of energy to get close to the pace and faded into the far turn. It was just not a good trip. Second time out, hopefully this runner can break better. I saw the way she was moving down the backstretch. She's got natural speed and some ability and a decent stride, but I just don't think that last race, based on the break, I mean, she had to make up 5-6 lengths just to get towards the lead. And I'm not sure if she's a need-the-lead type. She needs to break better. A daughter of Daredevil. And by the way, Daredevil, you want to talk about wet pedigree. This horse won a grade 1 in the slop at Belmont years ago. The Champagne as a 2-year-old. So
That is definitely wet pedigree right there.
right.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that she's just like her dad takes to the wet going today.
I'm going to go with the Johnny Ortiz barn. He's been very, very shy of the winner's circle this meet, but sometimes we will see that, and barns definitely tend to heat up as we progress in the meet. I'm hoping that is the case here with the number 2 Order Restored. Ricardo Santana in the irons does get some class relief, or actually faced maiden allowance. Those restricted maidens, there were no optional claiming in that particular field. Broke on top and just faded a little late to run third, beaten only 3 lengths on debut. But one of the things that was in early January, I really liked that last work that this runner put in on on February 9th, 4 furlongs and 48 flat. So of the half-mile works that day, she ranked fifth out of 67 of those. So the fact she did show some good speed on debut, and her sire, Tom's d'Etat, is 16% with runners in their second lifetime appearance. So we will start the opener that way. Moving on to race number 2, a couple professional non-3 runners in this group. Non-3 for 35,000. It is for 4 and up, sprinting 6 furlongs, and they are certainly hoping that changes today.
I am going to pick Market Street at a price 12 to 1. It doesn't say it in the comment lines. This horse had some traffic in the stretch. Multiple times I had to check. I don't think he would have won, but he would have been closer. Third start off the layoff here for a brief layoff for trainer Dwayne Lucas. So I don't think that's going to make a difference just because Wayne always keeps him fit, and he was only freshened up 2 months. But I thought this horse was a really good trip play in this race. Getting to the wet going, he has won on a wet surface before. In fact, he ran 5th in the Grade 3 Chick Lang on the wet going, and this horse is not a graded stakes horse. So he can take to the wet going just fine, and I think Market Street, watch that last replay if you get a chance, because this horse, although I don't think he would have won, he did have some trouble, would have been closer, and I'm hoping today he runs well.
I do want to note that Tyler Bacon is on Market Street, and he will get the mount aboard Innovator in the Rebel Stakes for Wayne Lucas.
Very
so
cool.
I asked Wayne not long ago, what he thought about Tyler. He's really high on this young apprentice, and had asked him if he is going to give him the mount in the Rebel, and he said absolutely. So the fact that you've got the coach of all people giving that much confidence, because you don't get the apprentice weight in stakes races, which is an interesting, maybe a handicapping
and
angle.
it's such a mental game.
Yes.
In all aspects, but especially for jockeys. I've never heard a jockey say the physical part is harder than the mental part.
Oh, it's definitely.
Mentally, you have to be there, and you have to be with it and concentrated, but you also have to feel that your bosses, which are the owners and the trainers, have confidence in you.
Absolutely.
So the fact that Dwayne Lucas is putting him not only on many horses, but high-quality horses, I think for a young man like Tyler Bacon, that probably instills confidence in him and makes him better.
Oh, it has to. And it's almost like a coach putting somebody out in first string. You get that confidence, and it definitely is a mental game. I'm going to go with the morning line favorite. It didn't get too creative in here. Mischievous M. Tom Vance giving the call to jockey Christian Torres. Does get class relief and looks to control the pace. Does have the best buyers, last couple of race buyers, and has been a consistent runner in nature, hitting the board 5 of 9 lifetime. Fairly lightly raced 4-year-old. With that considerable class relief, does come off the win against 50 starters, and was second over the mud 2 back against tougher. So I'm going to go with Mischievous M in race 2, which does start our 50-cent pick 4. Race number 3, it's a competitive group with a lot of speed, as this is Allowance, optional claiming 62,500 3-year-olds, and they will go 1 mile and a 16th, make the pilot on the number 2, Eric Medellin. But I tell you what, I thought, Matt, this was a pretty competitive group.
It is a competitive group. Younger horses looking to win an allowance type of race, and maybe we'll see them in a tougher race next time, whoever runs well in this race. I'm taking a chance with Extradition because this horse broke his maiden over a sloppy surface. And we talked about it in a past show, Nancy. I don't know if it was this year or last year, but I remember just I think it's very important to look and see who does well on these wet surfaces. And make sure you look at what the condition of the track is. I put more stock into a horse like Extradition, who won over a sloppy surface, versus a horse like Tango Mike, who last time won on a wet surface, but it was good, so it was closer to fast. I want to see some good slop form in there. I'll pick a horse that on paper has run well on the wet going, good going, but I like this horse because he ran a very good race over the slop at Churchill Downs, going a 1-turn mile, getting to 2 turns today. Comes out of a stakes race in which he ran poorly at Sunland Park, but that's a bit of a tricky surface. Some horses don't take to that, and it was a stake. So I think Extradition for Steve Asmussen is very appealing in here. It's 9-2.
I'm going to go with the morning line favorite. Mark Casse and Christian Torres have become a major dynamic duo, teaming up at 36%. Mark Casse having a phenomenal meet, batting about 30% 6%, which is huge in the training game. It was a really good effort, first time versus winners. The horse broke its maiden on debut at Gulfstream at the $50,000 level, then came here to face 50 starters, option $60,000 claimers, and was in for that starter allowance. Got away a little bit slowly. Could certainly have cost this runner maybe a few lengths. He was spotted the field about a dozen lengths by the time they were ready to go down the backstretch, but did wound up to run fourth. It should be noted that the winner of that particular field, Waco, we will see back on Monday in the Ozark Stakes. So I'm going to see if Griffin can maybe step up to the plate and contest the slop for the first time today.
Is it Griffin or Gryphon?
I would say, well, you know what? I don't know. I'm going to leave that to you. You're the
I called
professional
him
in regards
Gryphon
to
last
names.
time. I looked him up. Or Griffon. I'm going to have to look him up again. I looked up how Pete Aiello said it at Florida when
that's
he
a
ran
good,
there
that's a
first
good thought.
time. I go on Google.
Yeah.
So
How did he say it?
I think he said Gryphon.
Gryphon?
I'm pretty
Okay.
sure. But I'm going to look it up, and whatever you hear, I promise
That's
I've
what
done the
I'm gonna
homework. Yes. I'll text you,
Well,
but
you know
in the
what-
paddock.
You know what's so funny? Sometimes people say, "Oh, we'll just Google it," but Google is not always the correct
No.
pronunciation because know
No.
in thoroughbreds we tend to misspell things intentionally. Tiz would be Tiz or something along those lines. So yeah, Google. I always err on the side of caution.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And I look up multiple sources to try to figure out. There's this French guy on YouTube who's pretty good. He's got this real strong French accent, and he does different words, and he does a pretty good job.
Oh, he's not a track announcer.
No.
Okay,
No.
all right.
He's one of those guys you go up there and this is how you pronounce these words like that. And he does a pretty good job.
You just sounded like Florent Giroux when you said that.
Yes. Yeah.
You sounded just like Frenchie. Race number 4 is for 3-year-olds and up. Maiden claiming $12,500. That means Arkansas breds are in for the $20,000 claim price. They are going to go 6 furlongs. Scratch the number 2 and the 13. But it is going to be a full field as the 1A, who was on the also eligible, will draw in. The bulk of the field is going to take a drop to today's level in hopes of showing some improvement.
Well, Lord Diamond's hoping to finally win. This horse has run second in 3 of his last 4 races, including last time out for Steve Asmussen. Ran second that day. Gets Francisco Arrieta first off the claim for Matt Williams, who's about 23% from a low sample size. But Matt's a solid 20% type of trainer, and this runner here has been knocking on the door for a win. I just think this colt is probably a little bit better than the horses in here on paper. I think he's faster. I think the horses he's run against, you just look at their running lines, they're probably a little bit above par. So I think this is the field. And we talked about a race yesterday, Nancy. With these lower claimers, maiden claimers, they're just trying to find their friends.
Yep.
They're trying to find the right field. And when you know your circuit, it's very important to know your circuit because just because a race is maiden 12.5, you can get a weaker maiden 12.5, you can get a stronger maiden.
Excellent
12.5.
point. Yeah, excellent
So
point.
looking at this, I think it's a little bit on the, I hate to say this word, but a little bit on the weaker side.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we've seen even some first level allowances maybe on a weaker side. Even though they're competitive, they might not have, horses that are dropping back into the overnight ranks.
Right.
But I'm on the number 12, Lord Diamond, as well. Does get that age advantage of being a 4-year-old. And Matt's talking about off-track sires. Lord Nelson is 19% with runners over the off-going. And yeah, I was sometimes look at the Tomlinson numbers or the percentage over wet dirt for the sires, or sometimes we'll look at the dams as well.
For sure.
I mean, you know what? It's interesting with horses that tend to go to the front. They don't have to experience all of that kickback. If a runner's running for the first time in the slop and he's a closer, some horses don't mind it, and some horses might just call it a day.
It's a mental thing.
Yeah.
And truly the ones that don't tend to like it, I don't blame them. I wouldn't like it either. If it's getting slop in my face, you know what? I'll just go home now.
I'll see you back at the barn, for feed time.
I understand it.
I get that as well. Race number 5 is a first level allowance. It is for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, going 1 mile and a 16th. And many exit the last same out back on January 5th. And we love a good key race, and that is the case here in the 5th.
The 5th race, one of 2 allowance races that were split. We had so many entries, Pat Pope said, you know what, we're going to make these into 2.
You gotta love it.
I love it too, and this is a good field here coming up in this race. I picked Perfect Shot just like you, Nancy, in here. You look at her sloppy track form.
Yes.
Very good. She comes off a 3/4 length loss to In Just My Heels, who came back to win a second-level allowance, so that's promising. Earlier in her career, this filly on a sloppy surface ran third in the Grade 2 Rachel Alexander to an X-Style Grade 1 winner in Tarifa. So this gal loves the wet surface. She doesn't really run bad races. She's always around. The knock is she doesn't win that often. But today she finds a field I think she can handle. I don't think there are any runners in this race like just in my heels, and I think that Perfect Shot is going to win if she runs her race and everybody else sort of doesn't. If anybody takes a leap forward, I think they can be Perfect Shot, but Perfect Shot's certainly the one to beat.
Yeah, I definitely think this is the one to beat. Just really an improved effort when taking that added route of ground last time to go the mile, and which was over the mud. Does race third off the layoff. The barn 18% when racing third off the layoff. And we talk about off-track sires. I'm a big fan of Munnings, Lord Nelson, but Gunrunner has been very effective with those off-track progeny, firing at about 21%. So was the betting favorite last time. I do see this runner being the betting favorite again this afternoon.
And here's the thing. Gunrunner is a Curlin stallion. Curlin won the Breeders' Cup Classic at Monmouth Park over a super wet surface. So there you go. And I was actually thinking about Munnings, and I was gonna bring him up earlier. His babies love the wet going.
I can't help it. Sometimes I'll go through the PPs, not even look at past performances. I'll look for the Munnings because some horses just move up, not only in their placing, but also in their buyer speed figures. So a lot of good runners sometimes that's a good handicapping angle for today as well.
And GW's Girl is by Munnings, and we're going to see her in the Dixie Belle.
Yes,
so
we will.
There's a lot of interwoven connections here
yes.
when it comes to sloppy surfaces. And that's what makes the game so fun, right, is all these factors and trying to get it right.
Yes. We're going to take a quick break here on this rainy day Saturday edition of Oaklawn Today, and we will be right back.
Experience the excitement of horse racing with Oaklawn Anywhere. If you're an Arkansas resident, you can watch and wager on horse racing from around the globe, whether you're at home or on the go, with any smartphone, laptop, or tablet, anytime, anywhere. Download the free Oaklawn Anywhere app and register for a sign-up bonus. With access to past performances, live video, race replays, and expert handicapping data, you're always in the know with no subscription fees. Bet online anytime with Oaklawn Anywhere, exclusively available to Arkansans. Right, Max? Oaklawn Anywhere. Our season never ends. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
And they're off. Blue Squall, Extreme Diva, Blue Squall, photo finish. That official winner of the 2024 Dixie Belle Stakes, number 8, Extreme Diva.
Back with race number 6, which kicks off the first leg of the late 50-cent pick 5. This is a non-winners of 3, kind of a wide open bunch at the $40,000 claim level, 4-year-olds and upward, and they will go 1 mile in distance. And we will use, obviously, the short stretch of the mile run.
We will, and that can play to speed horses, and I picked Bolt at Midnight on top. One of those reasons, this horse has speed, dueled in the lead and won. First out for Chris Hartman that afternoon, and gets to the sloppy surface. This horse has run once over the wet going, but was a price that day. So I pass it. With one sample, I'll give this horse another shot in here. This is one of these races I did not have a strong opinion on, but I do think this horse is going to enjoy that stretch run here. And he was very game last time. It looked like he was headed and was going to run second, but he came back. So I like that tenacity. And Chris Hartman and Ruiz, they have done fantastic together.
Yes, they have. Bolt at Midnight's my selection as well. He did win as the favorite when making the barn and the Oaklawn debut. And the fact he is 1-for-1 here, I'm just hoping he improves his record as he does step up to face non-3 for the first time today. So is going to shorten up in distance, but I don't think that's going to be that big of a problem for him.
I don't think so. I think it'll actually help him. The one turn or the short stretch, 2-turn 1 mile. I think when you cut back from a mile and a 16th to a mile doing that, you're really fit. And especially he had to run hard last time. So I actually think that could be to his benefit, if anything.
I like it. Race number 7, very likely to see several of these runners against Stakes Company in their next start, as this is an allowance. Nobody in for the tag, and it is for 4 and up, going 1 mile and 1/8 in distance. Did have 2 scratches of the numbers 6 and 8.
This is a race where I am picking a price, and I am looking at a horse that ran very well in the Rebel over the slop.
Yes, he did, and that was a party in the winner's circle, Matt. I will never forget that.
Keith DeSormo, trainee, confidence game. Now, here's the knock I have on this horse. I like the price, but that day he did get a fast pace to run into, and he was able to run into, and he hasn't run a race back to that, but he's getting to the wet surface today. This horse is very well bred. He's by Candy Ride out of a half sibling to Zenyatta. So there's pedigree here, and this horse was purchased for $25,000 in 2021 as a youngster. So I think there were some holes here when they purchased this horse. I mean, usually a horse like this would go for more money. I have mixed signals, but the fact of the matter is he's going to be the right price in here. I don't think there's a standout. I think going 1 mile and 1/8 is going to be good for this horse. I think this horse likes more ground, and he likes the slop. So he is my price play today, and I am hoping that in a race where they're good horses, Magic Tap's a good horse, but he's coming off a layoff going 1 mile and 1/8, and we mentioned that yesterday, and we saw it in the first race.
That's a long way to go.
That's a long way to go for these layoff horses. I think Tonka Warrior's a good horse, but I also think he's very beatable. So why not? Confidence game.
I like it, and I will never forget that day. It was almost like Mardi Gras was happening in the winner's circle here. There were so many people, and they were lifting up Jimmy Graham, and just such a fantastic celebration.
Love to see it.
I loved that. I'm going to actually go to the far outside with Speed Bias, coming from the barn of Ron Moquet. Rafael Bejarano aboard, sired by Uncle Mo, who is 18% with runners over the off-going. This runner is grade 3 placed. Got away slow last out against non-4 allowance, also optional 75, but did contest, was in for that allowance condition. That was 1 mile. He ran 3rd, beaten just a neck, also when breaking from the rail. Now, we do get to the far outside, but I'm not too concerned about because it is a 9 as opposed to like a 12 or a 13 post. Stretches back out to the distance of the last win. I love that angle. Is also proven at the distance in the money 4 of 8, and also likes it here at Oaklawn in the money 7 of 11. And I'm hoping a quicker and a more effective break from the starting gate is a winning move today. Race number 8 is another tough allowance, and none have won over the off-going in this first level allowance group. Fillies and Mares 4 and up at 1 mile and 1/16.
The second division of this split allowance for Fillies and Mares, and the fact of the matter is, if Perfect Shot runs well in the first division earlier in the day, then I think Crazy Cammy is one you're going to want to look at, because this gal finished a length behind In Just My Heels, the next out winner, and Perfect Shot in a 2-back race, came back and ran 3rd, made an early move towards the lead and got a little bit tired, finished behind Claret Beret. I think In Just My Heels and Perfect Shot are both better horses than the field assembled here. I think Claret Beret is as well. So you're left with a filly that has good recent form. She's hit the board in 1 try over a wet track in 2 starts ago, so that's fine with me. She can take to the wet going, and she's got some versatility. She's very tactical. She's not one that's really speedy, but she's going to put herself in a good spot. So I like Crazy Cammy.
Yeah, I'm with Crazy Cammy as well. does come off that pair of thirds, and those 2 starts here at Oaklawn has been effective, and one of those, as Matt said, was over the off-going, has been knocking at the door. So I'm thinking today, I think we'll be able to walk through the door into the winner's circle. Race number 9 is the 47th running of the Dixie Belle. It is for 3-year-old fillies going 6 furlongs. The next race in their series is the Purple Martin. 2 stakes winners in the field, while others are hoping to earn some black type.
Well, You'll Be Back earned black type last time out, going 2 turns in the year's end over a muddy surface. Stocked the pace early, then made a mid-race move to the lead, but wasn't too far off to begin with, so it wasn't this massive move. I think the pace was decent enough, and she was keen to just go out there going a mile. She got run down by Jenkin, who we might see next week in the Honeybee. Even if we don't, she is a legit filly that is on the Kentucky Oaks Trail. You'll Be Back 2 starts ago, broke her maiden sprinting. I love cutbacks from route to sprint. She's run well in the wet going, so this gal is going to be fit. She's going to be ready for Tom Amos. She draws a great post outside for the Amos barn. You get your leading rider, Christian Torres, aboard. So I think there are a lot of signs to indicate the stars are going to align for You'll Be Back to run a very smart race today.
Yeah, I definitely think that You'll Be Back is going to be a very tough competitor, but I'm going to go with the number 6, GW's Girl, who was victorious in the Mockingbird, and that was also the dirt debut. Had run a very impressive maiden at Delaware, sprinting 5/8 over the turf, and then took on the boys in the Indian Summer at Keeneland, also sprinting over the turf, ran 5th, only beaten 2 lengths. And in Mary Rampolini's interview with Greg Compton, he referenced Jose Ortiz, and after he breezed this horse, and said this is definitely a stakes horse. So that came to be true in the Mockingbird, and is one of 2 stakes winners in the field. And Greg thinks that she will get a similar kind of trip. So with the amount of speed, could maybe sit back and make that one nice run, but will also be contesting the wet go for the first time, which I love because she is sired, as Matt mentioned, by Munnings.
One of my favorite sires. He can
Same
run
as
well
well
on anything, and his horses can go a distance of ground, too, even though he was a very fast horse.
You got to love that. Race number 10, as we close it out, let's talk some Arkansas bred. First level allowance, 3 and up, and they are going to sprint 6 furlongs in distance.
Yeah, Arky breds, big field. Love it.
Full field. Anytime we talk Arkansas breds, we can almost guarantee it's a full field because our also eligibles are drawing in, and there you see the rider changes.
Love it. And Al's Romeo, I like him today. I guess if this horse would have run one day earlier, would have been a good Valentine's Day play. Al's
there
Romeo.
you go. I like it.
This horse needs to run back-to-back really good races. I liked him last time out at 10-1, and we got lucky. That was one of the better picks for me. We've seen a lot worse picks than that.
Oh, same.
That was yeah.
This girl, yeah.
But that was a good pick, and this horse stalked the pace and won nicely second out. First off a break, this horse did no running. I don't know what happened that day, but he came back and ran the race that we knew he could because he's that good. And he defeated 110 Stadium, who came back to defeat, I would say, some of the best sprinters, Arky-breds, that we have here the other day. So Al's Romeo needs to prove to us that he can run back-to-back good races. But he's 2 for 4 on a wet track with 1 second-place finish, so that is just fine with me. Third start of the form cycle. It's a sharp half-mile work, 48. The third fastest was 171. I always say it's more about how they go, but that's a good thing to indicate to me that this horse is feeling good.
I'm going to go with the number 2, Brahms Image. Races third off the layoff and shortens back up after a pair of seconds when sprinting off the layoff, and then last out going a mile over a wet surface. At today's level, all 3 wins have been around 1 turn for this runner. The drawback, though, for the number 2, Brahms Image, is a need-to-lead type of runner, but the fact that we are proven over an off-track in the money 4 of 5 of those prior starts, and loves Oaklawn in the money 7 of 8. I'm going to go 4-1 with the number 2, Brahms Image, from the barn of Dwayne Loy. IOU, you outran my long shot pick yesterday. Empire Builder ran a very good race.
He did.
My horse, I think, might still be out there, but that means you pick a $10 exacta today, and I will play it.
Okay.
So you let me know, or we can do a double. You let me know whichever one you want to do, Matt. And
Is it a box or is it just straight exact?
No, we are always going to box.
Okay.
I'm an insurance kind of girl, so I always back up my bets. While Matt's looking, and we will pick our wager today. Let's show you our $20 show bet bonus parlay, our long shot, and our top pick, sponsored by Oaklawn Anywhere. I tell you what, top pick, we've done pretty well on these, Matt. We are both with perfect shot in race number 5. Matt's going to go with the former Rebel winner, who his last win was the Rebel, and it came over the slop. That's race 7 confidence game. And look at this, Matt. We're going head-to-head again as I'm in the same race with the number 9 Speed Bias from the barn of Ron Moquette. Matt's going to start in race 3 with his $20 show bet bonus parlay with Extradition. Go to Lord Diamond in the 4th, Crazy Cammy in the 8th, and you'll be back in the featured Dixie Belle. I'm going to start with race 2, Mischievous M. Go to Griffin, Lord Diamond, and also in the Dixie Belle with GW's Girl. The good thing about the show bet bonus, your horses can run 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, and you take home a little more bang for your buck. What do you think?
You know what? I'm going to have to. We want to make money, right?
Well, absolutely we want to make money.
So let's go to race 7, and let's do a box with confidence game and speed bias.
All right.
Your top pick is speed bias.
Yep.
My top pick is confidence game. I think your horse is going to have a very good chance to win. But if confidence game takes the slop and they can run 1-2, that's going to be a good payout.
That's going to be a huge payout. So here we go. We're going to pay a $10 exacta box for race 7 today with Matt and I going head-to-head. But if we're both winners, if that happens, right?
Sure.
We're both going to be winners. I see everybody staying inside for the bulk of the day because it is still absolutely pouring buckets outside, but that means it's going to be a party inside Saturday here at Oaklawn. So without further ado, you're going to see Matt up on the roof. You're going to see me in the paddock throughout the day. So for Matt Dinnerman, I am Nancy Holthus. Good luck here on the Saturday program.